was
Rule 1. The immigrant must have a job to come to. Bus drivers and conductors, railwaymen, labourers, coloured immigrants soon became essential workers in Britain's economy.
mechanic, engineer stroke mechanic, and my mum was a nurse.
What did they do when they arrived?
They went straight in and did the work because it was after the war and they were going over to the West Indies to ask skilled black folks to come over. So they came over. The rest of my family, my mum's family went to America, but my dad and my mum, I think they met on the way over here. And when they got over here, my dad straight away was a mechanic. And my mum went straight as a nurse into the hospitals. But they put, for some reason, they put, I don't know if it was specific to black women, but a lot of black nurses were put in the mental hospitals. And in those days, there wasn't a lot of control, so I just remember when I was younger.
I'm not sure what Mum was, Dad, because I know Dad, when they came, Dad been working at the British Rail, and he's working there till he retired. And Mum worked as she done cleaner. She worked in like a chocolate factory, Maynard's. She done that and other bits of job. But I've been like when I was 16, I went overseas, so I don't know what much they done because I was away for a long time. And when I came back, it was family was going through some shit. You know what I mean? Going through some things.
When did your parents come to England?
Yes, I'm coming from the 40s, 50s, 60s.
What job did they do as they arrived?
They work in a factory.
Both of them?
Yeah, all of them. Most of them until them come here home about 5 and 6 I've lived there in this one around 40 years, 50 years.
1,600 coloured immigrants came to Britain. In 1960, the figure almost trebled to 57,000. And in 1961, an all-time record of 136,400.
Do you get on with all the little boys and girls around here? Do you play with them?
Yeah.
You've been to a party today, haven't you?
Yes.
Are the little white boys as well?
Yeah. No white boys.
No white boys?
There was. Oh, only Patrick.
Only Patrick?
And Margaret.
Okay, how was your treatment by the teachers and the other pupils at school?
It depends who you had, Like, it depends who, my art teacher, she was done, but I hated art. She was good, but I didn't like art. Do you know what I mean?
What about your English teacher or your maths teacher?
You know what, it's so long. They, no, I don't think they really bothered with us. Do you know what I mean?
So, what about the white kid? Would they be bothered with the white kid?
Oh yeah, the white kids were different, weren't they?
So how would that work?
Well, how would it work? How can I say it worked?
If I'm the white kid and you're the black kid and I say, Miss, I need help, and you say you need help.
Well, we'd put our hands up, and but we would still have our hands up, and they'd go to the white kids. So they never really bothered us. Do you know what I mean?
So after they help the white kid, they still wouldn't come to the black child.
No, they put your hands down. You know what I mean? Yeah, it wasn't really.
Mr. Traves, he was the one. He was the worst out of all of them because he actually beat up me and my friend in class. So what happened? Because my dad had passed, so I had to go and get my mum. And then when my mum came to the school, because my mum came to the school to beat him up, he hid. So the next day I come into school, I said, yeah, you could beat up children, but a female come to see you and you're hiding. You're a effing arsehole. And that's exactly how it went, you understand? And that's how the school was, had it down. That's why they closed it and then opened it up as, they call it something else now. I don't know what the name they call it, but they had to close it down because people were smoking drugs in the playground, not going to class, the teachers was allowing it. The school was a mess, you know what I'm saying? A proper mess. Hatley Down School was a proper mess.
Well, for me, education, I found it, primary school was terrible, man.
Well, what did they teach you?
A lot of teachers were racist, man. Racist.
Like, give examples, please.
I remember one time, this white guy came at me.
Who's that, another pupil?
Yeah.
And so you started a little tussle and everything, you know.
What was it all about?
I don't even remember, but all I remember, the teacher come running out and calling me a monkey, you know.
First of all, school was difficult because you felt like you felt like you were always friends with the other black kids. In those days, when I was younger,
black kids went to your school?
In my school, it was quite mixed. I think you could say it was like, I think it was more like 60% white and other races, and then 40% black. But in those days, no matter where you went or what you did, black kids always stuck together. So your best mate would be a black kid. There's no doubt about that. You didn't hang out with white kids. Even though you spoke to them, you didn't hang out with them. That's just not the way it's going to work. One, because their families wouldn't accept it, and two, because your parents said stay away from the white people.
If you were a black person in school, all right, what would happen? There would be a mentality, all right, that comes from the teachers, all right, that you were dunce. You were automatically dunce. You know, class D, all right, was the lowest. Class C was the next highest. Class B and class C. And what happened is, what they did, they just grouped most of the black people into the one class, and a lot of them, all right, a lot of us were able to go higher and to do higher, and we were getting the same scores as those in group C, all right, but what they used the behavior thing to keep you in group D. So, you know, your behavior was, all right, because I was loud. Coming from Jamaica, I was loud, yeah, and they counted that loudness as rudeness, but that's just our style, you know. And I did.
They didn't teach us black history in school when I went to school. They didn't teach us black history. They taught us about, not even Christopher Columbus. They teach us about it was Henry VIII and stuff like that. We learn it at home. You learn it in your own.
So what did you learn about that at home?
I learned about myself and what black people are worth on this earth. Coming from slavery, we're still slaves to this day. Brainwashed. Enough black men is brainwashed, and other cultures brainwashed up here and don't know nothing about life.
English history, because England's got so much history. You were taught about Roman days, and when you weren't taught about English history, you were taught about
English history.
You were taught about Roman history. You were taught about the French history or the European history. The only information we had about our history was from our parents. You were never taught anything in school about anything to do with slavery or anything to do with the black rights. And you never, because those days, you kind of, if you could afford a TV, you kind of had a black and white one. And even then, you only had a couple of channels, so you didn't have a lot of stuff coming in from America. And no one travelled. No one travelled. And the reason that we didn't go to college is because your parents instilled in you, as soon as you were 16 and able to leave school, get out of school and go to work. In those days, there was a lot of work around.